TV as well. We do have a final phone interview this morning. They would like to get to you as we get going here. We're going to be joined on the phone line right now with Sarah McInnes. She is going to join us, and we're going to talk about a very important topic that we want to get information out about. Human Trafficking, Drug, Endangered Children's Conference that's coming up. It's going to be put on at Willow Bend Farms, and we're going to be able, well, it's actually going to be sponsored by Willow Bend Farms. It's going to be on March the 30th and 31st at North Cleveland Church of God. To talk to us about that, Sarah's going to join us now. Sarah, good morning to you. How are you doing?
Good morning, and thank you for having me on today. It's a great day.
Well, we appreciate you being on hold there for a few minutes. Had to take care of some things there. First of all, let's just talk about this conference that's coming up. Tell us some pertinent information and what we need to know as a community.
So one of our initiatives at Willow Bend Farms is prevention, education, and awareness, and we are fiercely dedicated to it. Last year, we were able to host our first ever Are You Awake conference. Are You Awake is the name of our prevention campaign, and because we want the community aware, we want the community awake, so that we have true prevention going on at the average age of entry into human trafficking, which is 12 to 13 years old. So the best way that we can see to do that is to empower our community. So March 30th and 31st, we are holding our second annual Are You Awake conference, and we are going to have 18 breakout sessions, 2 keynote speakers. We are also offering CEUs and professional credits. We've got a lot of school counselors that will be joining us, among other professionals, and it's just going to be an amazing 2 days. We've got representatives from the U.S. Attorney General's office, Homeland Security, TBI, FBI, local law enforcement. Our 10th Judicial District General Crump will be presenting as well. Just a lot of different topics that will be covered over those 2 days.
Again, we're joined on the phone right now with Sarah McInnes talking about a very, very important conference that's coming up called Are You Awake? The second annual one being put on by Willow Bend Farms. It's going to be at North Cleveland Church of God. One of the keynote speakers, I believe, is a survivor and advocate for social justice. Is that right, Sarah?
Yes, that is absolutely correct, and that's Centoya Brown-Long, and yes, so she is a survivor. She actually came through the juvenile justice system and was incarcerated as a juvenile and has been pardoned for that offense, and now she is an advocate in the juvenile justice system of how to reach kids and to identify what is going on. And so, yes, she will be speaking.
I want to ask you another question, Sarah. I think in a previous conversation I've talked to you about this before. Would we be surprised, human trafficking, we're right here in Cleveland and Bradley County, what most people outside our area call the Bible Belt. You know, that's what we typically hear when we talk to people outside of this area. Would we be surprised that this is a problem even in this area?
Yes. Most people are very surprised, and that's part of the Are You Awake, and awakening people to the reality and how it really happens much more subversively than what we think that it does. You know, it's not necessarily the person that's walking around following you in Target or Walmart or any other store. You know, how these individuals are getting to our children is basically through social media, through gaming, through a lot of different apps that are on phones, a lot of different ways. There's recruiting that goes on. And so that's part of the reason for the conference is, you know, let's prevent this from happening in our community, and let's not put our head in the sand. Let's look at what's happening, identify it, and then learn how to respond to it. Because people they don't want to believe that it's happening here, but on a daily basis, it is.
Sarah, another question that I have, you mentioned on the onset there about the conference that there'll be a lot of different folks there from different walks of life. You mentioned school counselors. What are some of the other people that may not on the surface think about that they need to attend this, but maybe kind of drawing them out and saying, hey, these are people who need to attend this conference as well?
It's really anybody in the community that wants to learn more about this. You know, at our last year's conference, we had people from the child advocacy centers, with health educators, the medical community, law enforcement, all types of different professionals, counselors that are not in the schools that may want to learn how to identify youth pastors. We really, you know, in the rural communities, you know, we look at where do we have the best option to actually reach the children. In Cleveland and Bradley County, we are very lucky to have such great resources like the Boys and Girls Clubs and those types of programs available to our youth, but not all communities have that. So reaching children in the church community and empowering the church response is also something that's very pivotal, and we are very passionate about as well. So really anyone in the community, parents are welcome, just anyone really.
Now, for us to sign up and to be a part of this this conference, Are You Awake? Is the name of it again. We're speaking with Sarah McInnes. She is part of Willow Bend Farms. And Sarah, so how do we sign up? How do we get to where we can attend this two-day event?
So there is on our website, willowbendfarms.org, on the very front page, there's a link there to register. If you're on our social media, you can go to our link tree, the link in Instagram or on Facebook, and that will take you there as well. There is a cost of $50 to register for the conference, but for what you're getting, that is really a low cost. Absolutely.
Before we go, talk to me a little bit about Willow Bend Farms, if you don't mind.
Yes, so Willow Bend Farms, we're coming up next month in March. We will be 6 years old. And, you know, in this community and the surrounding communities, we now serve 27 counties in East and Southeast Tennessee, even though all of our programming is housed in Bradley County. We've got a 2-year long-term residential. We also have an emergency response center that's a 7 to 14 day, and then transitional housing that is a 6 months to 1 year. In addition to our vocational program, we've got a storefront that's downtown called Willow Bend Curated. It's at 95 2nd Street, kind of catty-cornered from the police department. And everything that is made there has been developed, researched, and is handmade by survivors. So everything there goes back to support survivors. So there's a lot of different things that we do in our programming.
Well, Sarah, we definitely appreciate all the work that you do around, it sounds like a very, very large service area. We appreciate what you're doing, and the education part of this is such an important thing. You know, a lot of times, like I said on the onset when we were talking about would we be surprised what goes on even right here in our own backyard, and you mentioned yes. So it is something that we need to be aware of, and I'm sure there's a lot of information we can learn at this conference, this two-day conference. So we hope that people will sign up and be really just people that can start getting information out there, and let's try to get rid of this. We'd love to get rid of it nationally, globally, but we understand that we got to start in our own backyards first. So we hope that people will get on board with this. Again, it's coming up at North Cleveland Church of God. It's going to be held on March the 30th and 31st. Sarah, give me that website one more time. We also have that up on mixtv.tv right now as far as the flyer that we see. But give me, for our radio listening audience, the information on how they sign up for this great conference.
You go to willowbendfarms.org, and it'll be right there on the front page that you can register for the conference.
All right. Well, Sarah, thanks so much for the information, and thanks again for all the hard work that you and your team do there at Willow Bend Farms.
Yeah, thank you for having me on this morning.
All right. So there we go. That's going to wrap it up. Again, a very, very important conference that's coming up. We hear about it on nationally platforms sometimes, but it is something that goes into effect really in every community across the United States, unfortunately. Human Trafficking, Drug Endangerment Children's Conference called Are You Awake? Are we awake here in Cleveland and Bradley County? Well, let's go ahead and get on board with this with Willow Bend Farms, March 30th and 31st at North Cleveland Church of God. More details on our Facebook page, on mixtv.tv from this interview. Please share this. Get it in the hands of anybody that you think could benefit and possibly would want to attend this conference. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us for this morning on the Mixed Morning Show. We kind of took a break and dipped out, but came back for this very important interview. So we appreciate you listening and watching in. We're going to finish up with a quick commercial break, weather right around the corner, then right back to the music we go. Have a great rest of your Thursday morning, and stay tuned throughout the day to Mix 104.1 WCLE.
World.